Warburtons is the largest branded bakery supplier in the UK, and I think we're the third largest consumer brand in the UK also. We bake probably about 2 million bakery items every day, which we supply direct to retail consumers of any size, either big supermarkets or small corner shops, and anything in between, really. We do around about 16,000 deliveries each day, 7 days a week, 362 days a year, and we've got a fleet of around 800 vehicles operating from 24 distribution sites. They may be cross-dock depots or some of our bakeries as well. My role is a distribution planning manager, so I am responsible for the planning of the delivery fleet nationally from all of our depots, from a both strategic side of things, following right through to execution and final delivery, really.
Great.
I think obviously one of the biggest challenges is cost. And ever-increasing fuel prices, but also congestion on the roads is getting worse, as you may have experienced, and that adds in a lot of time into our delivery program, and it's looking at ways of how to improve the operation, to remove those elements of cost, to become more efficient, to improve productivity from our drivers. But also the way things are changing is customers are becoming more demanding. So probably I would say, when I started off in logistics maybe 20 years ago, people were just happy to receive the delivery on the day. Now they want to know what time it's going to come, what time you actually got there, how much you're going to deliver before you got there, and did you deliver it when you actually arrived. So, there's a whole range of extra data that probably is continuing to grow over time, and we need to respond to that to meet our customers' requirements, really. I think the biggest step change that we've experienced in the distribution operation, from my perspective at Warburtons, is the implementation of vehicles tracking linked to fleet controller, and that's enabled us to monitor the activities of our drivers and vehicles every minute of the day that they're out on the road, and to see what they're doing and how they're performing to plan. And if we anticipate any delays, but also the benefit of that is that we're able to take that information away and use actual data to remodel our distribution operation based on what has previously happened and trends that are occurring throughout the network. We operate fixed routes, but what we'll do is we'll take the real-time data offline, put it into our strategic planning systems, remodel our network based on what has actually happened over a period of time. Stop times at customers as well, so there's varying trends that occur with that as well, and that's as we've got so many deliveries that we make during the course of the day. The actual getting the dwell time at each location is vitally important, and has a very big impact on the validity of the delivery schedule. So we have some strategic systems which we use offline on laptops, which my planning team use to remodel the network, and also look at things like strategic elements like our depot locations and things like that. Are they in the right place? Do we need more depots? And all that kind of long-term strategic thinking. But also, we use that to remodel on a fairly regular basis to make sure we're as efficient as possible, and we're also fulfilling our customer service objectives. The other element to it is the Paragon fleet controller, where we've got our tracking partners which send minute by minute real-time feeds into the system, which we then measure against our delivery schedule on the day. And we've got a number of measures that we look at. So we look at our planned effectiveness. So is our plan going to achieve what we want it to do before the vehicle is set off? Are we sticking to the plan throughout the day? And then did we achieve all of our customer service requirements? And with the real-time data combined with the schedule that we've got in Paragon, we can measure all those elements in real time at any point during the day, so start, middle, end, and then we collate all that into a series of KPIs, which we then sort of publish out to the network so the depots can benchmark each other on where they're at, really. We provide some of our bigger customers with expected ETAs, but also our delivery performance against the delivery windows that the customer is expecting as well. When I started at Warburtons, there wasn't really a distribution planning function, but they already had Paragon in place. and as I'd already used Paragon, I knew that it was a good tool to use. And over the time that I've been there, we've developed the system by improving the mapping and various other elements with the support of the guys here. When we came to looking at rolling out our vehicle tracking solution, it seemed a very good fit for both the business, our sort of strategic planning, but also the link with the real-time feeds from the tracking system as well. They've really helped us because some of the things that we wanted particularly when we rolled out the fleet controller solution, weren't necessarily available off the shelf, and they've worked with us to build the solution that we actually wanted. And I think, you know, over the time that we've been, you know, dealing with Paragon, both personally and, you know, through the businesses that I've worked with, there's more of a partnership aspect to it rather than simply, you know, you go and buy a bit of software and run it, and that's the last you hear. So, you know, from that side of things, I think really, you know, it's a very positive relationship. The original business case for bringing in the vehicle tracking system linked to fleet controller was born out of trying to drive efficiencies in the distribution operation, and I think we identified the fact that some of our data wasn't as robust as it should be, with drivers actually writing down their arrival times and stop durations, and we were not necessarily confident in that information. So that led us down to the requirement for vehicle tracking. Some of the delivery routes in the business, we've got some quite long-serving drivers, or quite a lot. Our average length of service is higher than you would expect within the sector, and some of the drivers have been regularly operating those routes for a number of years. And as a sort of support mechanism for those, we thought that SatNav might provide the answer, and we actually load the delivery routes into the SatNav for them every day, linked to the tracking system, and they actually come from Paragon overnight. You know, there was a number of reasons, but you know, primarily it was the financial benefits of improving cost in the operation. But actually, as the project evolved, it became apparent that there were significant customer service benefits in being able to sort of answer queries, know what our drivers are doing, how productive they are, and all that sort of stuff. So actually it became more orientated towards providing better customer service and improving the operation, rather than actually purely a cost efficiency drive. It's really our adherence to our delivery plan really that is the critical measure. And actually, you know, we ascertaining the fact that we've actually got an effective plan to start off with. We have immediate visibility of that when we put our daily schedules into Paragon Fleet Controller. As the day progresses, you know, the real critical, if the plan's effective, and you know, we need to follow that plan to make sure that we actually deliver on that, and we measure that, you know, as I say, minute by minute. You know, and all the operators can log into Paragon at any time to check on progress throughout the course of the day. But that really is our critical measure, because we assume that if I've done my job properly, or my team we've got an effective plan. It's down to the operation to actually make sure that the drivers actually follow that plan, and that should then drive our customer service results at the end of the day. The emphasis is on quality and service to customers, and you know, we'll invest probably a bit more, and the family that own the business are willing to invest in quality and service. So actually, you know, attaining a high level of service is vitally important for us. But obviously linked to that, it's all got to be balanced against cost. So we would look at things like vehicle utilisation, you know, time on the road, downtime, and all that sort of stuff as well, which again, as we've got all of our delivery schedule within a single system, we can look at that quickly and ascertain where we're going through a few key metrics that we are embedded within that program. I think as well, the other thing about using the real-time data to create the plan in the first place is that it gives a certain higher level of credibility when you present that plan to the operation and say, I want you to go and do that. And the challenge back is always, well, it takes this long to do this and that. Well, actually you go, no, it doesn't, because this is what you've done for the last 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 months, you know. So you've actually got the evidence, and then you know, it builds a level of, you know, real buy-in. They can see why the plan is the way that it is, and actually, you know, then they can feel confident that they can go away and execute that and sell that to their the drivers effectively who are actually out there on the road doing it. we're getting more and more technology on the vehicles with all sorts of different things, and I think there's got to be an element of convergence where all these things come together, and we wrap them up so we've not probably got more black boxes on than bread, if you like. So there's certainly that's an area of focus, but there's also things like adding value from capturing different kinds of data, whether that's customer intelligence or some of our sort of returns processes and things like that, and even moving into things like electronic proof of delivery as well. I think there are real key focuses for the next sort of 3 to 5 years, really. I suppose there's a couple of things really. One would be to, before you embark upon it, is to make sure you know what you actually want to get out of it at the end, and have a clear sort of direction of where you're going and what your objectives are. The second one would be to engage all the people that are going to be involved in it, and I don't just mean you managers or directors or whatever. It's everybody, right from the CEO right down to the the delivery driver that's out on the route. And what we've done throughout the time that we've implemented, particularly the vehicle tracking linked to fleet controller, is brought all those people along with us on the journey. So we've had quite a lot of interaction, sort of workshops and engagement sessions, and actually brought those, and they've got the buy-in and have the confidence in the system that it will deliver what it's supposed to be doing, really. And I think in our experience, the way that we've approached it, and talking to some of the people that have helped us implement it at Paragon, it was pretty smooth, and we didn't have that resistance because we were quite upfront with what we were going to do and open, and let them have a look and have a play around with this stuff to see what it actually did, and we had very little resistance, and we do have a highly unionised workforce in the driver sector as well, which was quite pleasing really for us that we'd achieved that level of engagement, and it rolled out very smoothly.